Hi, my name is Daphne Hancock, and this is my Social Dilemma video project. There are only two industries that call their customers users: illegal drugs and software. This quote was embedded within the film The Social Dilemma, which focuses on the idea of how society is being manipulated in a manner that is causing an uprising trend in addiction to social media and technology. Addiction, when defined by the Fit and Well Core Concepts in Labs and Physical Fitness and Wellness textbook, is a chronic disease that disrupts the brain system of motivation and reward, characterized by a compulsive desire and increasing need for a substance or behavior, and by harm to the individual and or society. When the term addiction comes about in conversation, the first place that most individuals' minds focus in on is someone exhibiting addictive behaviors towards alcohol or drugs. However, addiction can become a serious threat even when drugs or alcohol are not in place, as any individual can develop addictive behaviors to any concept that causes them to lose control and let that certain behavior take over their life to the point where they are shut off from society at hand. Therefore, both the film The Social Dilemma and Chapter 13 of the Fit and Well Core Concepts in Labs and Physical Fitness and Wellness textbook both relate addiction in terms of that the textbook speaks on how an addiction can develop and how internet addiction is just one of the many addictive behaviors that society engages in, just like in the film. For example, the textbook states that an addiction often starts when people do something to bring pleasure or avoid pain. This coincides with the film, as the film spoke based on how society uses these social media platforms as a digital pacifier when emotions and behaviors become too overwhelming to handle in the real world. Therefore, society indulges into technology as a coping mechanism. Chapter 13 also states that eventually the behavior becomes a central focus of a person's life and other areas deteriorate, such as school performance or relationships. This can be seen in the film as the teenage boy Ben in the film slowly progresses into falling deeper into his own reality, as throughout the film he indulges more and more till the point where he is missing soccer practices and having less interactions with his sister Cass, and where the girl that he liked eventually stopped trying to interact with him, as all he did was become hypnotized by all the political and devour that was being offered to him at his fingertips. Therefore, the film related to Chapter 13 of the textbook in terms of learning about addiction, and that both express the concepts of how addiction can slowly progress to the point where it causes both harm to the mind and body of an individual, as they are unconsciously developing these addictive behaviors that result in negative consequences to both themselves and those around them. Switching over, social media can influence cognitive function by both attributing and diminishing certain cognitive skills. For example, social media is the perfect host to spread fake news and information, from which was highlighted in the film that fake news spreads 6 times faster than actual real news. This creates false facts within an individual, as they are becoming more catered to these fake news articles and posts, as the algorithm is feeding them more and more, causing the cognitive skill of being able to distinguish and interpret fake information from real information to diminish. However, social media can also enhance certain cognitive skills and functions, such as learning how to engage in topics that challenge the mind to gain more knowledge on a subject, such as politics per se. Overall, social media can influence cognitive functions by allowing the algorithm to feed the mind more and more to keep the user's attention at bay to either diminish or enhance certain cognitive skills. Cell phone use can affect personal and community wellness in both positive and negative ways. To start, cell phone use can affect personal wellness in a positive way, such that it can trigger the dopamine rush of reward and motivation to become more engaged in certain actions that might have not taken place without cell phone use, such as participating and engaging in conversations about real-life divisions such as on politics. This can be seen in the film when Ben was becoming more active in the discussion of the East Sea Center crisis that was happening in the storyline. However, cell phone use tilts more to the side of having negative effects on one's personal wellness, as from the film it could be seen that more teenagers are developing increasing rates of anxiety and depression, with rising suicide rates among young girls. Social media has no limits to what an individual can comment on another's post. Therefore, when young girls, for example, join the world of social media, they are not protected from comments that take bite of their flaws and personalities, which can be destructive to their developing sense of identity. Therefore, they become more prone to becoming mentally and emotionally drained to the point where their physical health declines, and they resort to the worst possible scenarios imaginable. In terms of how cell phone use can affect community wellness in a positive manner, is that it can rally together people who share the same values and views on topics. However, with that said, cell phone use can also affect community wellness in a negative manner, as it can create a divide in social interactions and relationships. For example, in the film, it talked about how culture wars are rising as people are so fixated on a certain range of quote-unquote facts that they have been given in their palm that they can't see the perceptions of those with different views. Cell phone use can also cause a drift to arise in family interactions, as in the film it could be seen that when the mom locked away their phones during dinner, there was nothing but awkward silence at first, as they did not know how to communicate with one another, as they had been so hypnotized into their own worlds. To end this off, one thing that I would say to persuade someone to change their behavior in relation to screen time would be that older generations grew up as actual children who played in the dirt and played with trucks and dolls, but this new generation are growing up with screen time at such a young age that they are not getting the full childhood experience that they will never be able to get back. Is this something that you want to teach or showcase to your future children or even the loved ones around you? Are you willing to sacrifice time spent with family and friends for a simple YouTube video or fake news article? Or are you going to make a change and be a turning point for the world in terms of social media behaviors? Thank you. Once again, I'm Daphne Hancock, and this has been my Social Dilemma project.